Kamala Harris is officially the Democrat nominee. She will accept the nomination next week. So it's going to be Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. It's been quite historic for Kamala Harris. She will be the first woman of color and the first Asian American to lead a major party ticket. Remember this after Joe Biden withdrew from the US presidential race. In fact, Kamala Harris has reacted to this as well. She says that she is humbled and proud to be the official Democrat nominee and that she will accept the nomination officially next week. It's going to be extremely interesting with the US presidential race being keenly watched across the world. Remember, there have been back-to-back surprises as far as the US presidential elections are concerned. First, of course, Donald Trump's assassination attempt, and then Joe Biden's announcement that he will be quitting the race for the White House, endorsing Kamala Harris there. And Kamala Harris now will be the official Democrat nominee. My colleague Disha Bagchi is now joining us live on the phone lines. Disha, quite historic there, given the fact that she will be the first woman of color, the first Asian American to lead a major party ticket. Also, a lot of interest here back home as well, given the fact that she is a person of Indian origin.
Right, Vedant. Indeed, there's quite a bit of interest and support in India behind Kamala Harris. But talking about her nomination, she has secured the required number of votes, which is 2,350 votes needed to secure the Democratic nomination. But she will officially be nominated as the presidential candidate for the party on Monday, when this virtual call will end. So right now she has secured the required number of delegate votes which is needed, and this is, as you mentioned, quite historic, as she is the first woman of color and the first Indian American in U.S. history to secure a major party's presidential nomination. So here back home in India, we're expecting to see reactions from her, home state, and see how people react. But as you mentioned, she has reacted and she has said that she will humbly accept the nomination. And we are seeing that the Democrat Party in the initial days after President Joe Biden quit the race and endorsed Kamala Harris, while there was support, some of the top voices of the Democrat Party did take some time before showing their endorsement to Harris. But now we're seeing that the party as a whole is coming together to show their support behind Harris. And apart from the party itself, she's also seeing record-breaking funds coming in for her campaign. In July, campaign raised $310 million, which is more than twice of what Trump managed to raise. So, indeed, we're seeing quite a lot of support behind her. And just recently, it was also announced that former U.S. President Barack Obama's campaign manager, David Plouffe, is also joining Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign as a senior advisor now. So, lot of support behind Harris, and now it's all eyes on Harris to see how her campaign is going to move forward. We're also seeing a lot of social media activity and a lot of youth support behind Harris, and even latest opinion polls are showing that Harris and Trump are now head-to-head, and Harris has actually managed to pick up support from some of the key groups that Biden wasn't able to win support from, which is the Hispanic voters, the youth voters. So yes, all eyes now on Harris to see once she's nominated as the official presidential candidate for the Democrat Party, where her campaign is going. And then the last 80 days left for this U.S. elections race. So back to you.
As you mentioned, Disha, the last phases of the campaign, but how do you see the Democrat campaign now taking shape? Do you see it picking up pace? Because, of course, it has had several setbacks in the past couple of months. And Donald Trump says that he already has a plan ready for Kamala Harris. I believe we've lost that line with Disha Bagchi there. We'll try and reconnect with her. But as I was mentioning, and as Disha has also been reporting, that now is when, it's almost like a race against time for the Democrats, given the fact that it's just 80 days to go for the crucial November election, and there have been several setbacks for the Democrats in the past couple of months as well. But moving now, I'm being joined by Nick Harper, who's a FSN correspondent. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Nick, thanks very much for being with us. How do you see this announcement? Kamala Harris is officially now the Democrat nominee, though of course she will be accepting the nomination next week. But it's going to be historic given the fact that she is the first woman of color, the first Asian American to lead a major party ticket.
Yeah, quite incredible. I mean, Kamala Harris is someone who throughout her career has continued to make history. And here she is once again becoming, for the very first time, the first female person of colour to top a ticket, and importantly, the first Indian American to top a ticket for a major national party. It's huge news, but of course not unexpected, because there was no one else challenging her for the nominee position. But I think what is interesting to note, this was a virtual roll call that began on Thursday. It was going to run all the way through till Monday, and in the space of just over 24 hours, she has already reached the position of getting enough delegates to become the nominee. The Democratic National Committee chairperson, Jamie Harrison, has called that simply outstanding. And I think that reflects the momentum and the enthusiasm that we've seen in the Democratic Party in the last 2 weeks, or less than 2 weeks, since Joe Biden dropped out of the race. There has been this real rallying around Kamala Harris as the new candidate and now nominee of the party. That enthusiasm has been at a grassroots level, but it's also been at the highest level of government, with lawmakers on Capitol here in Washington rallying around her. So yes, she's now the official nominee, making history, but bear in mind she could make history again in November, because if after that November 5th election, if she were to win, she'd become the first female president of the United States as well.
Absolutely fascinating there, Kamala Harris's journey. Thanks very much, Nick, for being with us. So, of course, this is a story we've been tracking very closely, and we will continue to track very, very closely. The race for the White House becoming extremely interesting. But that will take us a short break now, but news continues on the other side.